All right. Hello. Welcome to the Life and Transitions Experts podcast. I hope this is finding you well during this holiday season. Whatever you observe, if you don't observe, regardless, I hope that you're surrounded by or get to connect with loved ones and get to, restore and be refreshed and all that great, grand stuff. My name is Courtney Rollins. I'm the host of the Life and Transitions Experts podcast and the founder and owner of Do RE Ideals and Estate Pro Service, where I'm helping people navigate the probate and estate planning process while solving problems and creating opportunities for wealth through real estate and, income and wealth through real estate. And so today, I'm actually going to just open my brain up a little bit and go over some things that I think is pretty essential for me as I am out helping people who are going through probate. And one of those ways that I help is by asking questions. If you are in any type of service oriented industry, or really just in communication with other people in general, it is so important that you that I work on my skill of asking the right kind of questions. And just to be before we get going, some of the best type of questions to ask if you are in the sales service space are questions that are open-ended, but not just open-ended, but interrogative in their approach. So these are questions that are usually based on the same type of questions that they tell you in elementary school are great for news, like who, what, when, where, why. And those questions will allow you to discover what are the challenges, what are the issues for your prospect. We are trying to create a vision, and just like Jim Kemp, the great sales trainer, who the book Start with No and all his work, we need to help them create a vision, help your prospect create a vision, because without a vision, there's no decision, and that rhymes. Ooh, without a vision, there's no decision. And the way we help folks um, by create that vision is by asking quality questions. So here are some questions that I was thinking about the other day as I sat down, and I've heard from other folks, and I just read them out in my thinking journal here that I'm going to try to implement. And that doesn't mean I'm going to implement them in all the same time, and it doesn't mean that that I'm going to implement them or say them in the same this order. No particular order, just some things that I'm thinking about that I've heard over the time that I think would be important for an executive. But before we do that, just a reminder, probate is the legal process for settling the affairs of a deceased party. So if someone passes away and they have assets in their name or they have debt in their name, there has to be a legal way to deal with that. And so probate is that process. I am a probate specialist in Durham County, North Carolina, which means I don't know everything, but I am dedicated to learning, growing, and sharing my experience. Another disclaimer, I'm not an attorney, not a financial advisor. I'm not trying to attempt to play one on my YouTube channel. But I, again, know that if I share my experience, hopefully it'll be helpful to folks, and I get to grow and learn that way. And that's what I'm designed to do. So that's what I'm doing. Here are basically the steps in North Carolina in general. You open the probate, you take the inventory, you're notifying the creditors, you're settling the debt and the taxes, you distribute the remaining inheritance, and you finalize the account and you close the estate. Simple as that, right? Well, it's not always that simple. Probate's long, probate's public, and probate can be very expensive. So there's a lot of reasons why you need support, and not just in the legal realm, but with the non-legal side of probate. But all right, so if you're a practitioner or if you're a personal representative, here's some questions that you may hear from me or from someone who may be able to want to help you. So, what are some of the biggest challenges you're facing, right? And how is the property impacting the probate process? What are your plans for the property? How have you adjusted insurance to make sure you have proper coverage? How are you planning to avoid the probate process for you and your family in the future? I love that last question. And these are questions, again, designed to really jar up, help them think about what is really going on, what their next steps are. And these, again, you notice they're not yes or no questions. They're not, are you facing any challenges? They're not, is the property impacting the probate? Is there property in the probate or the estate? They're really designed to allow you to listen and to dig deeper. Some more are, what steps have you taken to assure you don't have squatters in the property? And those last two, particularly that one and the one about insurance, are really, I'm assuming, and assumptive. because there sometimes can be when you reach out to someone, they may say I have everything covered, but quite often two places or spaces that people don't aren't aware of when there's property involved is when the status of the property changes, then you quite often need to make sure insurance is adjusted, and you also need to make sure that you protect against squatters by having the proper signage. Shout out to Chad Corbett and the Probate Mastery course and their community for helping um, share that with the community so they can share it with personal representatives. And it's a great way to offer some services and to keep the conversation going. Let's see. How can I best serve you? Open-ended question. What does support look like during the process? Again, instead of me saying, "Hey, I can do all this, I can do this for you, I can do this for you, I can do this for you," no, we need to be a part of their experience, paint their picture. Don't Well, they say spill all your candy in the lobby. Like who was that? David Sandler. I think he says that quite often in his training when he was alive and around. And when would you like to be finished with the probate? Uh, Now we know that sometimes, especially probate, is dictated by certain timelines, but it's still good to help you start giving them that future pacing to help them think about, okay, ideally, what would I like to happen? So that hopefully you can be a part of their world. What's up? Good morning, Maurice. I know that has to be my beautiful mama. What's going on, mom? I'm trying not to rush through this, but I got some of that delicious uh, leftovers at the house that I can, I can almost smell. So, but this is important. So let me rock and roll. How soon would you like funds for the air? So that helps you really understand where they are in the process. May help you understand perhaps they would be more open to a cash offer on a property if there's property involved, or perhaps they're more suited for, particularly if they're trying to sell the property for a listing. Again, not always are geared towards property just because there's so often property related to the estates, and that's the main way that I actually keep the doors open. If there's not property related, there's still ways you can serve, still ways you can help, still ways that you can really, really benefit from serving and helping, whether that's turning them into private investors or you figuring out a problem or issue that you later on can bring to another person that's going to help you add value. And, that's how that whole go giver stuff, that's how you receive. You got to give to receive. So, especially if they share something with you. Well, why is this important to you? What's your next step? Where are you in the process? I think I asked that before, but anyways. Who else is helping you? That's a great question to see. Especially with there's other stakeholders involved, or perhaps there's attorneys that you could work with. That's a good question to ask. How has this impacted your life? That is important. People make decisions 100% emotionally. We rationalize it after we make the decision, but when it comes to making meaning, that's how we're trying to support. So if I understand how something's impacted the person's life, I may have some opportunities to serve them that speaks to that. How has your attorney helped you so far? That's a great other question. What are the other stakeholders expecting from the estate? I think that's geared towards me attempting to. Oh, what's up, Jeremy? Yeah, 2024, we rocking, man. Yeah, but that last question is geared towards figuring out if there's other decision makers in the process that you may need to be able to speak to. What are you using to make sure you know what to expect next? That's a little clunky. I need to reword that. And please, again, I was going to ask at the end, but if you have any suggestions, Courtney at estateproservice.com. I'll even send the link to this actual sheet. I have it on a Word document, and you can throw in your thoughts or comments. I love to learn and grow with you. But that question is really designed to. I have a checklist for North Carolina, and if I'm able to, instead of say, "Hey, would you like a checklist?" That's a yes or no. I think that question is geared towards like seeing if they know what the next steps are, if there's anything that I can share with them to be a part of their world and serve. How has the pressure been as the personal representative? Especially as you're building rapport, being able to listen and to understand and empathize. That's a great question to ask and opens up to other challenges they may have. What will you do once the probate's done? You know, how will you protect your family's wealth? That's not proper grammar, but how will you protect your family's wealth? Yeah, so you understand your family wealth. Okay, I guess you can say it that way. But regardless, you understand what I'm saying. When can we meet again to help you move further down the process? I'm thinking about that as I'm knocking doors now, and that's I think a great question for me to ask because even though when I'm in front of them knocking doors, it allows me to establish some relationship very quickly. It still may not be the first time, first conversation, one conversation that everything is going to happen. So I need to make sure that I open it up for us to speak again. What ways is your attorney helping you? I think I asked that before, but I'm asking it, I guess, in a different way here. And what's lacking in the process? All right, so those are some of the questions. Oh, got two more. Ideally, what would you like done with the property in the estate? Great question. I would even ask it even if there isn't, if you don't know if there's property in the state, because they say, well, there isn't property, or we're doing this or that. So make sure you can come with an assumptive attitude. And what steps are you taking to make sure you don't have to go through probate again in the future? That's just a different way to ask a very similar question. That's awesome way to help folks get referrals for estate planning. Um, it's a great way to actually serve because really we shouldn't have to go through probate. Having a trust or other legal instruments is not just designed for people we may assume are extremely wealthy. There are different instruments you can use besides trust, but trust are very awesome tools that anyone could use, and it's a way for you to again serve and provide referrals for other folks in the industry as well. So those are some of the questions I'm thinking about. Would love to hear any questions that you may have, or open-ended questions or interrogative questions that help us figure out what the situation is for our folks that we're serving. If you are in Durham County or anywhere in North Carolina, or really anywhere, and you just want to chat and talk or see if there's any way I can help be a part of your journey, or even vice versa, feel free to reach out, Courtney at estateproservice.com. And would love to hit for you to subscribe and follow us on YouTube. We're growing that audience out there. Please join the YouTube channel as well as the Facebook community, and check out the show notes when this actually published. I think this is live now, but check out the show notes when it's published because we'll drop the link in with the list of questions, and you can just snatch it up, use it for yourself, change them around, throw any questions you have for me, or that I can add, and yeah, we'll rock and roll from there. All right. It's Courtney Rollins with the LITE, Life in Transitions Experts podcast. Let your light shine. Cheers.